Well, well, well. Well, well, well. The first half of the first round games are over. And I gotta say, it was peak. I feel like this year's play-in and this year's first couple games of the first round have been amazing. They've been up to they've surpassed the standards that I think a lot of us had for them. Not only were they close games, not all of them per se were close, but you know, a lot of them for the first half and maybe first three quarters definitely captured all of our attentions. Um, but as the title of this video says, LeBron still has it. He's 40. He's 40 years old, 41 years old, and he's still putting the team on his back. 27 points, 13 assists. Look, I'm gonna get to that later, but what I'm saying right now is we're seeing absurdity. We might be witnessing the last run that the king is gonna have, and we can't take it for advantage. But I digress. I'll talk about all the games that happened today, and not from chronological order, just how I have them in my notes and whatnot. So, first game that I have is the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. This game started off dominant, definitely a lot dominant for the Wolves. I thought when I was watching it, the Wolves are gonna win. They're gonna take it by storm, and a lot of us had Denver, coming out dominant out the gate. We had them coming out on top all the time. A lot of us may have had them in our pick'ems for, winning in 5, winning in 4, winning in 6, winning in 7 even. But me personally, I have a lot of faith in Ant, and shout out to Rudy Gobert, defensive legend. I digress though. This game started off really well for the Wolves. Anthony Edwards was doing amazing. He was doing his thing, really. Everybody on the Timberwolves was doing their thing. They were great defensively. It seemed like they got the rust off pretty quickly. And then the second quarter. The second quarter wasn't too good. That's when, Jokic really started to pick up his steam. That's when Jamal Murray started to pick up his steam. Jamal Murray and Jokic went crazy today. Jokic had a triple-double, as per usual, and Jamal Murray had 30 points. I would say as per usual, but that isn't as per usual, but still nonetheless in his wheelhouse. And I think it's a big testament to, if you look back and watch the game, it's a big testament to how the Wolves didn't go out in the offseason, or not just in the offseason, but at the trade deadline and get a point guard, like a proper point guard. And I love Dante DiVincenzo, and I think he's, a great defensive point guard, and he's a great three-point shooter. But they need, a better defensive point guard. They need someone who's a better defensive anchor there. And they just need more defense in general on their team. Like, Julius Randle isn't known for his defense. And he showed that today. He showed why he's not really known for his defense. He's great scoring wise. He's great offensively. But he's just not known for, going and getting those stops. He's not going to be picking up a lot of stocks per game. And, I'll talk about someone else later that isn't really known for their defensive prowess, but they still did amazing because it's the playoffs. You don't do what you were doing in the regular season in the playoffs. You do better. You go above and beyond. But nonetheless, it was still so fun to watch this game. Watch Jamal Murray. Like, he looked like he was in flow state, really. He looked like the moment he grabbed the ball, he was figuring it out at first. He was getting his, first baby steps. But once he could walk, that boy was running. He skipped the jogging part. He just went walk, run. Like, this whole game really revolved around Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic's, chemistry that they have with each other. All those years playing with each other, this is what it's for. I feel like this game was one of those games that you can tell that they're like this. I bet you Jamal Murray has his own horse in his stable. I promise you, probably. But nonetheless, though, Ant had 22 points, and he really seemed like the only one on the Wolves that knew what they were doing that day. He came and he had the rust off already. Everybody else, I I have no doubt that in game 2 that they're going to do even better. That this will be a closer game than it was today. Nonetheless, though, it was a good game. Raptors, Cavs. I'm Canadian, and so I wanted the Raptors to win. And I really thought the Raptors were going to win because, well, everybody knows James Harden, playoff choker, Jared Allen, not playoff riser per se. But, man, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell combined for 52 points. Nuts. Like, I believe Donovan Mitchell got a majority of those, 30 plus. But nonetheless, James Harden was doing so well this game. I believe he had a double-double at the end of the game. But still, like, this looked like the James Harden that, has taken shit seriously. This is the James Harden that wants to win a chip. I'm not saying he never wanted to win a chip in the past. I'm not saying he didn't try. But if this Cavs team, or if this version of James Harden was with the Clippers last year, they're probably making it to the conference finals. Like, this guy was playing his ass off. Up and down and up. Nothing could stop him. Which is crazy to me because you usually hear about James Harden putting on a fat suit, not wanting to play. And, he's gone older. And Cleveland doesn't seem like the type of, area James Harden would want to be in. Not saying because they don't have good clubs. I wouldn't know. But it's mainly because it's not really a big tourist attraction. A lot of times James Harden goes to, I guess Philly isn't a big tourist attraction, but, it's still populated and whatnot. But who knows? Maybe being isolated down in, Cleveland, he actually got to put the work in. He made, this time James Harden put the work in. But he wasn't the only one that's amazing. Like I said, Donovan Mitchell was amazing. He dropped 30-something points. Amazing. Great efficiency, too. He looked like he was in his bag off rip. But that's Donovan Mitchell stuff. Jared Allen also did his thing. I think he got 14 points. But someone I wanted to talk about was Max Strus. Off the bench, boom. That boy went nuts. Max Strus is one of those players that you'll get a great game from him often. Like, it's not going to be once in a while you get a great game. You'll get a great game from him often. He's like a Colin Gillespie in that sense, where you're going to get a good game. Like, you kind of can tell when the game starts off if you're going to get a good game. And he dropped 24 points in 24 minutes. That says it all. That says it all right there. That man was doing amazing. But the whole game in general was a bit close. It wasn't too close per se. Like, the Raptors were trailing by a bit sometimes. But when it got to the third quarter, the Cavs had a 24-point deficit, 24-point lead, and just from there went down. Like, the Raptors didn't know what to do. It just didn't seem like they were really locked in with each other. Brandon Ingram had 13 points at the half, and he ended the game with 17 points. I couldn't really tell you what happened. If I'm being honest, while I was watching, I was just upset, really, because, I want to see my Raptors win. I want to see my Raptors do good. Nonetheless, though, I just think that this game was more of an R.J. Barrett and a Scotty Barnes type of game because they were the ones leading the charge. Every single time when you're going down the court, you either get it to R.J. Barrett or you get it to Scotty Barnes. But even in those senses, they didn't really deliver what you needed them to deliver. And neither did Brandon Ingram. I just think that he was out of his comfort zone. Maybe it's because he hasn't been in the playoffs in a while, or maybe because Glorilla wasn't there. I don't know. Whatever it may be, I just hope that Brandon Ingram finds that spark again, because we know they can beat the Cavs. I know they can. My game of the night, the best game of the night in my opinion, Knicks versus Hawks. I was super excited for this game coming into it. I really thought this would be a closer game. It wasn't per se. It was a close game the whole time, but just like with every other game, when it got to the third quarter, that's when the Knicks started to run away with it. Jalen Brunson, Cat, amazing. They did so well. Like, I had said previously when I was talking about Julius Randle that I'd be talking about somebody who isn't known for their defensive prowess, and that's Cat. Karl Anthony Towns, man. Like, he did amazing today. He got a block that was super important to the game, shifting the momentum. Jordan Clarkson was also doing good. I don't know what it is, but when Cat and Jordan Clarkson are on the court, I really like that defense. They're not really even known for their defense per se, but that defense is still pretty good. But nonetheless, though, Cat did his thing. He got his points. He got the boards. He got stops. Every single time the Hawks wanted to go down, he was there. Every single time. And a lot of the times, Mike Brown was switching out Cat for Mitchell Robinson, but every single time he was swapping out Mitchell Robinson for Cat, Atlanta would just foul Mitchell Robinson. And they did it so often that when it got to, I believe before even halftime came, they were above the limit, and they had so many fouls that they were jumping for loose balls, and all those things come with fouls. So Atlanta was just sending New York to the free throw line for free points every single time. And I was listening, and I heard the broadcaster call it Hack-a-Mitch, and it was funny. I found that so funny because like Hack-a-Shack and whatnot, and Mitchell Robinson isn't really a great free throw shooter, and we know this, but even then, like, you're gonna foul the wrong person sometimes. They had so many fouls that before the half went through. I had said before they were getting loose ball fouls even. They had to go for all those rebounds, and they fouled Jalen Brunson, and that was a free 2 points. But there were so many times when they would try and do those hustle plays, but you can just tell that they don't have that experience yet. Like, they just went in and they fouled. So often Atlanta was fouling, it was crazy. Maybe some of them aren't fouls. A lot of them were. Like, CJ McCollum kicked Jalen Brunson in the nuts. And then, who was it? Onyeka did the same thing to Cat. Like, I don't even understand what's happening. They were kicking the Knicks in the balls. But nonetheless, though, it's like, it just seemed like Atlanta they were kind of out of the comfort zone there. New York really pressed them in a way that they never had been pressed before. Kuminga looked good. Nickeil Alexander-Walker looked like he was like Brandon Ingram today. He was very slow. There was some moments where he was amazing. He was really, really good some moments. But there were some moments where he was really, really bad. CJ McCollum by far was the highlight with Jalen Johnson. Them two, they worked so hard today. They were the ones who really brought Atlanta into this game. CJ McCollum was great defensively. Jalen Johnson was great defensively. But most importantly, they're both great offensively. I have to say this. I never knew how ugly CJ McCollum's jump shot was. And that's no hate. That's no diss or anything. I just never knew how ugly it was. But how efficient it is. Like, he is so accurate with that. I digress, though. On the Knicks side, like I said, Jalen Brunson, Cat, they did their thing. But a shout out that I want to give is Josh Hart. We know Josh Hart puts those hustle plays in. He knows what he's doing all the time. And it was no different today. He was the heart of the game today. Josh Hart went stupid. He went so crazy today. He was getting steals left, right, and center. He was doing the plays that nobody else wanted to do. He was getting down in that nitty and gritty, and he was doing his thing. I was so amazed by it. I was watching with my girlfriend, and I have to say, that was truly one of the greatest games of the Knicks that I've seen this year. Hands down, congratulations. But last but not least, actually, one more thing I want to say about Atlanta. It was crazy to me. They played more Gabe Vincent than they did Zachary Reese-Sachet. That's all I got to say. Lakers versus Houston. Obviously, Kevin Durant was out today, and that was a big factor because the whole game, the Rockets didn't look like they could catch their footing when it came to scoring today. Reed Shepherd tried to put up some shots. Jabari Smith tried to put up some shots. Even Amen was doing his thing, I guess. Everybody was kind of doing their thing, but none of them were really doing the thing. You know, they didn't get their footing well, and you can kind of tell how much impact Kevin Durant has on this team because of how little scoring that they did. Um, the whole game, I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but 40-year-old LeBron was running the whole game. Like, in the fourth quarter, LeBron turned it up like crazy, and he got a block. DeAndre Ayton got a block. DeAndre Ayton was somebody who did amazing today too. Like, this was a revival for the Lakers, really. It really came out of the gate. LeBron James went crazy. He was the one making all the plays. He was the one facilitating. He was running the offense. You would think he was playing the one with Marcus Smart out there. But nonetheless, he did amazing. LeBron, he showed why he is the greatest of all time. Like, truly. LeBron James showed why he can have a team and he can just put them on their back. Look, overall, like, it was a good game. But just like every other one, up until the third quarter, something changed. Like, I understand maybe they're tired or whatnot, but the Rockets just didn't feel like themselves. The fourth quarter, though, I will say, they did come out swinging. And nearing the end, they tried to go crazy, but they weren't any match for, I can't believe I'm about to say this, DeAndre Ayton and Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard was, oh my, the white boy was firing, bro. Like, Luke Kennard made up for the fact that Austin Reeves and Luka were both out, and he went stupid today. He got 27 points, and he was 9 for 13 from the field. Great efficiency, 5 for 5 from 3. Like, overall, this guy is, he was doing what he was brought in to do. Score. He got the rock, he put it in the basket. That's all he needed to do. And LeBron James passing the ball, and if Bron passes you the ball, you can't miss. It is what it is. There's really not much to say. Like, I wish I could really say more about Houston and the Lakers, but it's LeBron's show. It was all LeBron's show. DeAndre Ayton was, I will say, if I wasn't going to give it to Luke Kennard, the best player of the game, it would be then LeBron James, but then it would be DeAndre Ayton. Usually it's not that way. Usually DeAndre Ayton is last. Like, I'm not a big fan of the guy. He's pretty lazy and what. But today, wow, he did his thing. I don't know what LeBron said to him. Whatever it may be, amazing. We got to see Bronny today play. He played limited minutes, but nonetheless, it was nice to see him out on the court with his dad. Overall, like, this was a really good day for the playoffs. I have no, like, criticism really about it. This was such a fun day for the playoffs, and I can't wait for tomorrow. One last thing I want to add. I didn't make a video about the play-in, so I'm just going to add small things right now. The Heat versus the Charlotte, the Heat versus the Hornets, that was a crazy game. I was watching it, and wow, Kobe White did so amazing. The Sixers gave Orlando Magic BTA. I don't know, and then going on to Charlotte versus Orlando, I don't know what the hell Orlando drank before that, but they gave Charlotte BTA, and they're moving on. Anyways, what happened even, I didn't even watch much about the Warriors and the Clippers. I watched a lot of that. That was crazy. Steph Curry, he still has it in him. Even though this might be his last year, I really hope it's not. And next year he does the same with an actual good team around him. Kawhi Leonard still looked amazing. I'm upset though about the Clippers. Might be giving a top pick to the Thunder. I digress though. Portland, Phoenix. That was I can't lie, that was not my favorite game of all time. It was pretty boring, but I will say the fourth quarter of that was pretty good. Then what was it? It was Phoenix and the Golden State Warriors. Kristaps wasn't in, and I think that was really a big deal breaker. We saw what he did against the Clippers, and he went stupidly ham. I'm not talking about Darvin Ham. But yeah, like the Suns, yeah. Suns deserved to go in anyways. But nonetheless, tomorrow it's, I believe, the Sixers in Boston. It's Orlando and the Pistons. It is It is Phoenix and OKC, and it's Portland versus the Spurs. I am excited for tomorrow. I'm gonna be updating every single day with the playoffs going on, every single day. Yeah, that's all I gotta say for today. Peace.